Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Break Live. This is actually going to be called something a little different, like Call In Fridays or something. I don't know. But here's the background on this. And I got to show you something really awesome. I'm going to show you the new GM Philosophy calendar. And we're going to do this quick before we start the call in segment, although that call in link is pinned as the top comment. Let me grab this screen to show you here. It's pretty awesome. So here we have the new calendar, and I'm unveiling this. It's a little bit chaotic right now. I need to do a little design work on it, but here's the important part. I have decided on all of the things that GM Philosophy is going to have going on. I've been told by many people, Garrick is in the chat. Hey, Garrick, how's it going? I've been told by many people, including Garrick, including other people, that, you know what, GM Philosopher, you have too much going on. I don't even know what the heck is going on half the time. You know, there are events coming and going. The schedule's changing. And there's a lot of truth to this. And we had a pretty awesome TTRPG YouTube meeting the other day. We've started having those in the Discord. And like 3 different people gave me that advice. They kind of said, you know, I think the content's good, but I never know what the heck is going on. It's very chaotic. Things are coming and going, getting planned and canceled. Segments getting adopted and then going away the next week. And this is true. So I have designed a calendar and I am committing to it. And we're going to stick with this. I think I'm going to force myself to stick with this until Thanksgiving. that's the goal, I think. And then if we have to adjust, we can adjust. But I want to go a good 6 months of consistent. I'm an Enneagram 3 for those of you who don't know. And an Enneagram 3 actually struggles with, like, they get new ideas. And then when they get a new idea, they like jump after it and kind of just leave behind the old ideas. And that can lead to a lack of consistency. That's not like an excuse. It's just like, I think it just happens. So here is the calendar. Now, you can find the link to this calendar. Actually, this is kind of cool at gmphilosophy.com. It's that simple, gmphilosophy.com, and you'll find the calendar. So you can always see what's going to happen. And then if I end up canceling anything, what I'll do is I'll put a little cancel notice like over here. And I'll put the dates that are canceled. So for example, you know, if I'm going to be out of town or if I get sick, people can look at gmphilosophy.com and they will always see if there are any scheduled cancellations. But for the most part, this is the program. This is the standard program we're going to run with. So boom, that is the news. That's the way the news goes, as Rick says. With that being said, I'm really excited to see some people coming in here. I see that we've got a few people watching. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you'd like to talk about today. I'm here. I've scheduled an hour to be here today, guys, on Friday call-ins, and that call-in link is at the top of the screen. Someone call in and let's talk about something. Let's get a topic going. I would love to hear what you all would like to talk about. Today I'm drinking a Monster Energy Ultra Fantasy Ruby Red. And I have kind of been a fan of these. I don't get Monster very often. Usually Rockstar is my go-to. But the place I went to get my energy drink today did not have any of the Rockstars I like. They had no zero sugar Rockstars. I don't want to drink the sugary energy drinks because I think that's too much sugar. I feel like when I stopped drinking sugary energy drinks, I feel like I saw a lot of good upturns with my health and wellness, and I don't want to go back to drinking sugary energy drinks. Now, there is something I'd like to talk about. I haven't gotten any, comments or call-ins yet, so there's something I'd like to talk about. I've been getting a lot of comments lately about people basically saying that D&D is not good. It's no good. It's a bad system. No one likes it. It's not a good system. There's a lot of problems with D&D. And I've been getting a lot of comments about that. That's something we might want to talk about at some point. We have a call-in. Spellcrafter is in the house. How's it going, Spellcrafter?
Hello. Is it working?
It's working. I hear you loud and clear.
I guess my camera's not working, but oh well.
Yeah, no camera, but that's okay. If you get it working, cool. If not, hey, we're here to talk. What would you like to discuss?
Well, when you were about to talk about like how D&D was not working, I want to know if you have any alternative systems. I have a few I'm looking at right now.
Okay. So for me, alternate systems, I actually have a homebrew system that I'm developing that I like to run sci-fi with. With that being said, it's not quite done yet. If I were going to run anything else, it would be my homebrew system that I have not released yet. I'm going to release it open source. I plan for that to come out in a couple months. Um, Hot take, it's called the Armor system, and I've been using it for years and years. I've just never like written it down. With that being said, I think that if I were going to jump at any system, I haven't played very many systems other than D&D, other than GURPS. I don't really like GURPS, I'll be honest. I think I would try Shadow Dark for fantasy. I think that that's what I would do. Garrick says basic fantasy. Garrick has been a big proponent of basic fantasy. We've talked a lot about that. Avery Juno's in the chat. How's it going, Avery? Good to see you. Spellcrafter, what are you looking at for other systems?
Well, I'm looking at something similar. Sorry, something stuck in my throat. Something similar to 5e called Tales of the Valiant.
Tales of the Valiant. Let's take a look at it.
It's made by Cobalt Press, if you've heard of them.
I have heard of them, yeah. All right, we're going to take a look at it. Tales of the Valiant. Okay. Now, I can share this. This is a public website, so I can share this. We're going to take a look at it. If anyone uses Tales of the Valiant, drop us a note and let us know. Awa's Ark's in the house with a ghosty face. How's it going, Awa? Good to see you. Tales of the Valiant, Monster Vault 2. Okay, no, this is we want to look for, let's see,
Explore, I guess.
Maybe play the game. Oh, Player's Guide. Okay, so this is what you're looking at, basically, the Player's Guide. Oh, okay, so this comes, it's a print version. Oh, hardcover. Nice. Okay, so you can get it hardcover.
There's
so
also a soft cover version, too.
Yeah, heck yeah. What do you what draws you to this system? What is it about this system that's making you look at it as opposed to like, there's like a bunch of alternative options to D&D, but what about this system attracts you?
Well, it's a lot easier to get in, a lot easier to jump into if you're familiar with 5e, I would say, because it's basically their own version of 5e. It's compatible with it, according to them.
It's compatible with 5e?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So in your thinking, you kind of think, well, even better, you could take and leave the parts of 5e that you like or don't like.
Yep.
Nice. We have a comment here from Paul Sabas. Hey, GM Phil, I need to do a week-long training session for a party. They'll be training on sailing a ship. They have a teacher and a few knowledgeable crew members. 4 characters recommendations. That's a good question. We're going to put a bookmark in that one because I do have thoughts about that. But I want to get done with this Tales of the Valiant conversation first. Anyway, so all right. So Tales of the Valiant looks super cool. What have you looked at any other options? Daggerheart is the system I'm most excited for, says Avery. I've actually heard a lot about Daggerheart as well. And Daggerheart seems really cool.
I've tried looking in Daggerheart a couple times. I haven't got anyone to play with me on it, so I haven't got any really reviews on it. Yeah.
So what is it about 5e that you're not crazy about? What is the point about it that is a deal breaker for you?
There's no deal breaker for me. It's just I want to try to make my own content sometime, and with the OGL, all that stuff, I don't feel confident in basically making my own characters and like showing them.
When you say making content and showing them, do you kind of mean like you'd like to become a content creator, or do you mean you want to create resources and maybe sell them like supplements and things, or like
content creator mainly? Also, nice. I also do eventually want to make supplements, but I don't think I have enough experience for that yet. I joined D&D and stuff, and then all that happened, kind of, so...
You mean you joined D&D and then you got inspired to like create content about it?
Yep. And when I was planning to make like supplement content and such after I got a few years of experience. Well, the OGL happened, so
What kind of content do you want to make? Well, like what platforms are you looking at? Like YouTube or Twitch or like
YouTube so far.
nice. Do you have anything on YouTube?
Yes, I do actually. I have something called Spellcrafter Gaming. I eventually started making content on that. I'm not very experienced, so
Can we watch a bit of it? Do you care if we watch a bit of it here?
yep. Do you want me to just link your channel or my channel or something?
Yeah. Drop a link to what you'd like to watch in the comments, and I'll grab it. We'll put it on the screen. That'd be pretty awesome. Heck
Okay.
yeah. Now, Paul. So, training on sailing a ship. I have a whole ebook for that. I've written like a 50-page ebook on sailing that I didn't even think about until just now. It's been like months since I've even thought about that. And I could drop that for you, actually. I used to give that away for free. I'm just going to drop it in the chat. I don't know. I'm going to do that while Spellcrafter's queuing that up, if I can even find it. It's been a long
Should I
time.
post it in the chat or?
Yeah, you should just post it in the chat and I'll grab it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here's my channel, I guess. Oh.
Yeah, go for it. I'm just grabbing this. I'm going to share this. I don't even remember if this is good. This is kind of an older ebook I made. I made this just because I needed a sailing ebook. Let me see here. Let me double check this is the right thing. Yeah, okay. Paul, I'm going to drop this in here. I'm just going to drop my this is called, I call this the D&D Sailing Rules Guide. This is just like a thing I made one time, and that's just a Google Drive link, and you should be able to download it. Anyone who wants to download it can download it. If that's not a clickable link, just copy and paste the link into your browser, and let me know if it works. But yeah, boom, there you go. I don't know if that will help, but I think there's probably more than you'll even want to mess with there. All right. Now, did you drop your
I think so.
did it go in there? Maybe it's just taking a second.
I put it in the main chat. Like on YouTube.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna go.
I thought that's what you wanted. Sorry.
No, that's totally fine. I'm gonna grab it here. Where is it? Actually, can you drop it in this chat? Like
I'll do that instead. Fair.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually see it in the
That's interesting.
Regular comments. That's okay though. I'm excited to take a look at it.
I'm not as good at your videos as you are because my camera never works. So,
well, YouTube is a journey, and it's not. Man, I've had so many. This is not my first YouTube channel. I've had many YouTube channels before. Oh, here we go. Okay, I've had several YouTube channels before that failed that don't even exist now because they failed, right? And it's just because you live and you learn and you get better at things. Oh, heck yeah. Paul says ship supplement is great. Thank you. You are welcome. I'm glad someone other than me will get some use out of it. Heck yeah. Not a jester, not a clown is in the house. All right. So I've got this window up here, Spellcrafter, and I'm going to share this now. Okay, here we go. Yeah, also share audio. Okay. William's in the house, Dungeons and 20s. How's it going, William? What video should I click on?
I don't know. I didn't think about an intro video, honestly. I probably should have thought of that. I guess the different luck points, maybe? The latest video?
Luck points? All right. Let's watch a little bit.
Hello, and welcome to my Tales of the Valiant luck point system video.
Can you guys hear the audio? Can you hear the audio, Spellcrafter?
I can hear the audio.
Okay.
Today we're going over the luck points from Tales of the Valiant, which is also compatible with D&D 5e. Luck is a resource which you get for replacement for inspiration in D&D 5e and Tales of the Valiant. For what luck does, you can use luck for a 1-to-1 bonus on your roll. So if you roll a 13 and you have 2 luck, you can turn into 15 for a potential hit. Or you can use 3 luck alternatively and re-roll a roll, and you have to take that new roll. You can't use it if it's a critical hit or critical miss. You can't improve those at all. With all that said, I bet you're wondering how you can gain luck now. Luck can either be gained by failing a save or failing a hit, or being awarded by GM for clever roleplay, or, well, or the DM just gives it to you for another reason. It can also be gained by some magic items. There are some limitations on luck, as I mentioned about you can't change a critical hit or critical miss. You can also not have any more than 5 luck. If you do, you have to roll a d4 and take that number rolled plus 1. It's more of an incentive to use luck more. Then let it be unused and have players hoarding all the luck. There is not much more to luck besides this in Tales of the Valiant, but there are some custom things I thought I'd mention. There's some people who do luck as a 1v1 damage reduction. So if you use 1 luck, you can reduce 1 damage on your character. If they roll a d4 and do like 4 damage, that becomes 3. Or you can increase your damage by hitting something and adding some luck points to it. So like add 1 luck to a 3 damage and you got 4. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you did. Catch you later.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. So you're looking to be is being a content creator pretty important to you, or is it more just like a hobby thing? Are you trying to are you wanting to make it like a professional thing?
I eventually want to turn it to a professional thing. Obviously, I get so nervous that my voice cracks, even though I'm a grown adult.
Oh, it's fine. It doesn't matter. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
25.
25? Heck yeah. Man, you got all kinds of time. On our Discord channel, in the GM Philosophy Discord, once a week we have a TTRPG YouTuber roundtable, where we get together and we talk about like our YouTube journeys, because there's so many YouTubers in the Discord. If you're a member of our Discord, you should join and look at the events. I think it's on Wednesdays. Is that right? I just redid we just literally looked at the calendar, and now I can't remember which day it's on.
I'll try to look real quick.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's there, and shabam, you should join us sometime. But yeah, heck yeah, I love it. So for you, that system, and what was that system called again?
Tales of the Valiant.
Tales of the Valiant is the one that you're looking at as the predominant, basically for you, best possible replacement for 5e at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah! All right, awesome. We've got a couple people in chat. Herminator's in the chat. How's it going, Herminator? Not a jester, not a clown is here. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. Stacy's in the chat. A system I'm hoping to learn well that just recently been finalized is called Nimble. I've heard about Nimble. Twin Steel, who is a member of our community, he was in the original playtesting group for Nimble, and speaks very, very highly of it. That's pretty awesome. All right. Well, Spellcrafter, it's great to talk to you. Are you a member of the Discord?
Yes, I just joined.
Heck yeah. Then just make sure to look at those events, and you should come to our next TTRPG roundtable or our TTRPG YouTuber roundtable, because if here's the thing. If you want to be a content creator, some people look down on that. Like they think, oh, that's not like a real thing. Like, it's like that's not a real business, or it's not a viable business, but it's a very real, viable potential thing to do, not only for fun, but also literally as a business. There are a lot of people who make a lot of money as a content creator. It's just about finding your niche. It's about finding your angle. It's about staying consistent. And you can do it. So don't doubt yourself, man. I have faith in you. And your video was great. You've got lots of potential, lots of room to grow. Just keep at it. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. All right. I'm going to bounce you out of here to make room for other callers. But thanks for jumping on the call. Thanks for contributing. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. All right. If anyone else wants to jump in and be a caller, link is pinned at the top of the comments. Let me know what you'd like to talk about. Avery says the Discord is so fun. Join us. Heck yeah. Avery is one of our counselors. Also, Avery and I play together on Sunday evenings in Williams game, playing in the world of Solaire. All right. We got another caller. Herminator is joining the chat. Herminator, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Good, good, good. I see you're at work. You're always at work around this time.
Yeah.
What do you want? What's up with you today? What do you want to talk about?
Well, weirdly enough, you're talking about YouTube channels. I don't do D&D content on my YouTube channel, or at least not yet. I have a Star Wars gaming channel
Do you really?
that I only have like 28 subscribers.
Do you want to
and I-
watch? Can we watch a video? Would you be okay with us watching a little bit of what you're
Sure.
doing? What's your channel?
RPG Atmo Space Gaming.
RPG Atmo Gaming.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find it here. Sometimes it's a little hard to find these things without a link. RPG Atmo Gaming. What's the title of the last video you made? Do you remember?
Star Wars Outlaws number 6.
All right, let's take a look here.
I'm actually
go.
I
see it now.
scheduled an upload for an hour from now.
Oh, heck,
About an hour from now for my next one. But
you're posting some long form content. All right, I'm gonna put some of this on the screen here. I'm gonna actually mute. Actually, I'm gonna remove you for just a minute.
okay.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna remove you. I'm just gonna hit mute for a second because there's quite a bit of noise coming from your camera, and I'm gonna post. Actually, hold on. Let me show you this real quick first. Which video do you wanna show us? Just we can't watch like a full video, but like a couple minutes of one at least. This is kind of fun.
And any just pick one. It's all pretty much the same.
All right, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna hit mute on this. We're gonna watch a little bit of Herminator's YouTube. That's clean audio. I like that. What game is this? Terminator, what game is this?
Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know if the rest of YouTube can hear it or not, but me in the StreamYard can't.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No. I mean, I know what it sounds like, but I can't hear it.
Hey, chat, will you let me know if you can hear the audio in the video? We can't hear the video. Hold on. I got to reshare. I did it wrong. Give me 1 second. That's all right. We'll get it. All right. We got to stop the screen share. I did it wrong. Okay. I know what I did. I did not enable audio. I gotta get on top of this stuff. All right.
Somewhere and steal a bunch of money so we can
Now can you hear it?
buy off our freedom of the death mark.
Herminator, can you hear the audio now?
I can. Yep.
There's
All right,
bounty hunters after us because we stole a bunch of stuff. So we're going to steal more stuff.
Whoever's running this audio
so that
serves my blade.
we can pay out so that people stop coming after us because we stole stuff. So criminals in the Star Wars universe operate, I guess. So we are looking for someone in the cantina.
I love Star Wars so much.
Me too. The first video I actually did on the channel was with Knights of the Republic. It was around the time the 20th anniversary of the original game was coming out.
There's anything there to do there.
Ended up doing a
Talk to the
55
bartender.
video series playing through that game. And funny thing, I found out that
weird
the
question, maybe.
basis of that
Is
game,
there
the
a
combat and
mercenary around here?
everything,
We got a lot of
was an
mercenaries,
old
kid. How
use
about one
of
who likes
the
big guns?
gaming
Yeah,
license
that
for
narrows it down.
D&D 3rd edition.
But you might want to talk to Rooster.
So there's basically a dice roll in the background for different things you're attempting or attacking, and there's turn combat.
Yeah.
And so I think I said it in my first video, it's a combination of my two favorite things, D&D and Star Wars.
Ah. I love it. This reminds me of Knights of the Old Republic, which I played. I played that game so much.
That was the first. That was the. I did a. That was the first video series I did on my channel. Was a playthrough of that game.
Nice. Watching that video makes me want to play video games more. I don't play very many video games, but sometimes I wish I did.
I mean, hey, you could just watch my channel. You can play through watching me. I'm not that good at it, but
well,
it's
the fun, it's the excitement. There's an excitement about a video game, like a good video game. You fire it up and you're like, oh heck yeah, I'm about to play some awesome. Like I used to feel that way about Call of Duty. I was so into Call of Duty. And I stopped playing Call of Duty when I got more serious about my business. So years and years ago, around 20, it would have been 2019, probably more like 2018 is when I kind of stopped playing video games hardcore. But before then, I spent way too much time playing video games, and I spent the most time playing Call of Duty. Avery says, GMP, you need to play Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I've heard about Baldur's Gate, and I've watched some videos of it. I've stayed away from video games. I feel like I'm not quite at a place in my life where I have the time.
I have so much too.
Is Baldur's Gate on your list? You haven't played it?
Yeah, I have it. I played a little bit of it. I wanted to play through the whole game once before I tried a recording of it.
Yeah.
But life has been doing crazy stuff on my end. My wife's about 4 months pregnant, and different things of life scheduling, and I'm not finding as much time to record as I was hoping.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Like I say in my profile bio, that I'm just a guy that is doing this for hobby, and I have a full-time job, which I'm at. That's my welding helmet. So if I don't have time because of work and family, then I may not have as much time to record and play games and stuff. So
that is fair. And isn't that the story? As we become adults and as we get more responsibilities, we find that free time gets eaten up pretty quickly with responsibilities. But you're a good man for going to work and caring for the family, and that baby on the way. Things are about to get even more crazy.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. That's really good.
Yeah, my wife and I are going to Fan Expo Comic-Con in Cleveland tomorrow.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. I have a Mandalorian cosplay that I put on for that.
Oh, nice. Do you like the show, The Mandalorian? Did you like it?
Yes, I did. I think that the later half of the latest season was a little like I'm not quite sure why Jack Black needed to be in Star Wars.
You could say the same thing about Bill Burr. He was in Star Wars, and that was a little strange. I understand.
Yeah, but I feel like that one it was more or less it was a recognizable actor playing a Star Wars character, but I feel like the Jack Black episode was Jack Black doing Jack Black in Star Wars.
That is weird. That's a little strange. Yeah. It's the second weirdest Star Wars thing that's ever happened. Second only to the Christmas special, the original Christmas.
which I've never seen. I don't know if I should ever watch it now.
Maybe not. I kind of regret. I'm like, how could I wash this out of my eyeballs?
Yeah.
But anyway. All right. Well, Herminator, thanks for jumping on. I'm going to
Yeah.
bounce out to make room for if anyone else wants.
And I have to go back to work, so good timing.
Well, hey, have a good day. Thanks for chatting.
All right,
I'll
thank you.
talk to you soon. All right. Man, just makes me want to play video games is what it does. I wish I could watch anything Star Wars after Disney bought it. Just can't do it. You know, I don't think Star Wars. Okay, so is Star Wars better or worse since being bought by Disney? We can't discount the fact that we've gotten a lot more Star Wars stuff since Disney acquired Star Wars. Like, it might have been a long time before we saw any new Star Wars stuff. Imagine how exciting this would have been when we were kids. You know, I remember watching Star Wars for the very first time, and then it was done, and then I watched them over and over and over again. Imagine how exciting it would have been even to have relatively subpar Star Wars movies back then. And we went a whole generation with no real new Star Wars movies. The prequels came out. This is awesome. And now we have all these Star Wars shows coming out. Does that count for anything? Does that count for something? I don't know. If someone wants to call in and talk to me about it, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. Everyone should experience the Expo special once. I don't know. That was rough. That was rough. If you cannot take it seriously, but if you take Star Wars as seriously as I border on taking Star Wars, I don't know, man. I don't know. William says don't do it. Avery says worse, as in Disney taking over Star Wars. Spellcrafter says it's been pretty bad. It has been kind of bad. Do you ever watch those people do the side-by-side of like the lightsaber battles, and then, you know, in the prequels and then the original trilogy, and then they show the prequel battles between like Rey and what's his name? It's rough. It's rough. I like Disney when I was young, but now not so much. Disney was lit when I was young. Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast. These are timeless cartoons, in my opinion. Robin Hood. I loved Robin Hood. Jungle Book. Jungle Book was another one that I really loved. Let's see what else. You know, Bambi was a little weird for me. Bambi was a little weird. It was good, but it was weird. Fox and the Hound was traumatic. It traumatized me. Does that count? Oh, The Rescuers. Okay, hot take. Rescuers was good. Rescuers Down Under was better. Rescuers Down Under was better, in my opinion. Mice saving people with a smart-mouthed seagull as their companion. Was he a seagull? The bird. Bambi. Fargrim. We've got a caller coming in. Fargrim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Heck yeah. How's it going?
I'm not doing too bad. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. What would you like to discuss today?
So I'd like to discuss what type of handouts DMs give out for their campaign, whether it be like digital maps or even being mailing your players something. What type of handouts do you give out typically?
So I actually have there's a couple things. Let me grab this. My handouts are relatively simple right now, but I will tell you what I give out in my campaigns. In fact, I'm going to go to my Barren Lands channel, and I pin all of my stuff in the channel. So I'm going to go there so I make sure I don't forget anything. All right. So one thing that I will do is I'll do what's called a missing session mechanic. This is something that I give players in the very beginning. I've kind of learned that people with busy schedules can't always make it to D&D. And so I will create a mechanic, basically pre-plan for what happens when players miss sessions. So I'll give that plan to the players just so they know. That's one thing I hand out. Number two, I basically give them a dissertation, like a small handout on what style of campaign I want to run. So, for example, in my Barrenlands campaign, it was titled Session Zero Note: How Grim versus Comical Fun I want this campaign to be. And I said, I'll just give you a little bit of the wording. For me, I envision this campaign unfolding as a gripping, grim tale of adventure in a magical world thrust deep into the heart of an Arctic, barren wilderness. The tones and themes of this campaign are going to be the mortal's journey in coping with darkness, scarcity, hopelessness, and the constant threat of despair and the impending doom of failure. I'm not saying that there won't be lighthearted or funny moments, but the primary goal of this campaign will be to tell an epic collaborative story of the player characters. As such, I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page with that goal. Do any of you see this as being a goal and premise that you're not interested in? Some things that I do not want in this campaign are a comedy or zany, funny campaign, or a campaign full of puns or one-liners. Obviously, as per usual, there will always be some fun, and I love that. But I just want to make sure that we can all agree on what we'd like the central theme and goal to be, which can, and then I just go on and basically describe that. But so that's one handout that I give out. Content guidelines for the game, I give that out as well. So, and I'll just give that to you real quick. Content guidelines for the game. Due to the fact that this is going to be streamed on Twitch and uploaded to YouTube, nowadays I don't do Twitch, it's just up YouTube. But here are some content rules of thumb I'd like to follow. Try to keep all descriptions, scenes, language, and gameplay PG-13 rated. Let's stay away from sexually explicit scenes. We will fade to black instead. Let's stay away from over-the-top violence. Blood splattering, stabbing, crushing, and limb removal is fine, but let's not detail for 5 minutes, for example, the specifics of the disembowelment or the precise specific nature of the procedure of performing the blood eagle, right? So it's like basically, if you feel like it wouldn't be allowed in a PG-13 rated movie or show, let's not do it, say it, or talk about it in game. And then final note, I personally have a hard line with sexual violence in my games. I do not like to run any scenes or scenarios to any degree that involve sexual violence, even if it might be allowed to a limited extent in a PG-13 rated film. I would not want it to be in the game. I'll tell them what level their characters are supposed to be. I'll give them the campaign synopsis. Let's see. If there is, so world state details, any important world state details, I'll give them. If we're playing in Greyhawk, I'll just say we're playing in Greyhawk. They can do their own like research. If we're playing in like my homebrew world state, I make sure to give them ample information about that. I've actually published a lot of my world state information in my Haunting at Ashburrow book. Right now, I use that as my world state guide because the whole first chapter is actually about my Regenesis world state. But anyway, so that's right now all the handouts I give. And if I have any requirements as far as like starting gear and that kind of thing, this particular campaign was 0 starting gear just because of how the campaign started. But a lot of times I'll say start with starting gear plus this much gold worth of stuff, or you can just keep the gold, and or this many magic items. So just like very specific instructions for what they can start with. And then that's pretty much it. That's what I give out. How about you? What do you give out?
Well, depending on the scenario, I use Dungeon Alchemist, and I make after I'm done with my map, I give a walkthrough, and I'll explain, and I'll watch it with my players, and I'll be like, okay, we'll watch up until like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Then I'll be like, okay, so this is where you see this item, or a new piece of the crime scene, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed they really like that because it gives them that full immersion. I'm currently making a PDF for my new world. I'm giving trade location, trade imports and exports, affiliation with the war, if the zone is conflicted or occupied, things like that, and what organizations are in those areas.
Yeah.
I also make every city I make a map for, just so my players can be like, oh, this is nice. So they can have like a plan for, like, let's say next session they want to go to the jewel crafter and things like that. Um,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you make your maps right now? What do you use for your map making?
so currently I use Dungeon Alchemist.
Nice.
I highly recommend that. I've been using that for a while. The community and the guy who streams it, Mac, is very friendly and is very helpful. And I also use Incarnate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been practicing with Incarnate. I just started using it a week ago, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm having a blast, and it's cool to see different examples of it, especially in your community, because no two people make a similar map design. I've seen.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah. Actually, what I do is I start a lot of my maps in Midjourney, and then the thing about Midjourney though is that the maps are always a little weird. So
They are.
I'll take them I'll like put them into Incarnate, and then I'll overlay them with my stuff from Incarnate, or I'll just create specific segments. Like I'm gonna project a map onto here. I'll show you what I mean. I've been loving that. I'm not trying to sidestep the conversation though about the handouts though. Please continue. I'll show you something that I made, but
Other than that, I'll make like after I describe a magic item a player picked up or crafted, I'll make an image into like a little, like an AI image or a little cue card for it, just to give them on their character sheet. I'm trying just well, I did tell you I started making lore videos. That has been very helpful. So I use 11 Labs and Canva for that. Highly recommend.
for making your lore videos,
Yes.
11 Labs and Canva.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use Canva? You mean to like edit your video and stuff?
Yeah, 100%. Upload media. I wouldn't. It's not the best for editing audio, but video and uploading media is easy peasy.
Gotcha. I use Canva every single day. I have edited video with Canva. I love Canva. I live in Canva.
I love
If it-
Canva too.
If it weren't for Canva, I don't know what I would. I don't know what I would do sometimes. Canva is incredibly important to me. I'm trying to get this thing to work over here so I can show you this map. It's not cool.
So what VTT do you use?
I use Owlbear Rodeo.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one. That's why when I was watching your stream recently, it didn't seem familiar. You said Owl Bear Rodeo?
Yeah, Owlbear Rodeo. So here's an example of a map that I made. So all of this map is made in Incarnate, except for this blue magical section here.
Right.
I generated that in Midjourney, and then I pasted it in there. And I love how it turned out. I think, and then I put the border around it here, like these rocks, to kind of put it in seamlessly to make it look like it was built in, and then the steps because it's an elevated platform. But I love this was in my first episode, the Dunes of Fate campaign. I've generated some maps like this for my Bearlands campaign, but I am. It is interesting to note that thus far the players have avoided all situations with my highly engineered maps, which William might chuckle about because we were just talking about that the other day. But anyway,
It's like they know sometimes.
well, they probably did best to avoid those because there were some dangerous. There were some dangerous situations. But anyway, so now, you were talking about something before I brought that up, and now I forgot what it was. We were talking about Canva, and then what was the next? What were we talking about?
I know we were talking about handouts and using Canva to make said handouts.
Oh yeah, that's right. So right now, do you feel like your handouts do the job, or as you're running games, do you find, oh, I should have talked about this in the beginning? Like, I kind of feel like that's the best indication that a new thing should go in your handouts.
Well, hindsight is always 2020. You know, there's always that, oh man, I could have said this. I feel like to any situation, especially when it comes to D&D, because nothing feels polished. You know what I mean? Like, you could prep for all you want, then the players don't go to that room or something. But ultimately, everything is a work in progress. But it's, as we discussed yesterday, consistency is key, and having that discipline of knowing that or having your players know that they can have something that they can watch on their own time will help them, like, do their homework, basically. If they, I hate to say homework, but, get more in depth in the world, get more involved.
Yeah. No, for sure. Polish, I feel like polish happens. So it's interesting. Polish happens with, I would say, practice and in the minutia, like, to me, polish means I didn't have to pause for 10 minutes to hunt for an answer. I could just flow into the next section. To me, that's what polish feels like. And on virtual, we have a technological component to that too. It's different than in person, I think in person, it's easier to flow between scenes when we're playing the game. I realize there's a difference between playing D&D and then creating content about D&D, but like when I'm playing D&D, to me, flow is that, was I able to flow from one scene to the next, and it felt pretty seamless, and then we could shift to the players, and the players don't have to be polished, right? They're playing the game. But anyway, that's how I feel when I hear the word polish. That's what I always think of. I think to myself, how can I make these transitions the most seamless? How can I go from this NPC to this one? And how can I introduce this villain and make it feel very clean? The scene make the scene feel clean, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I like that. I didn't think of it like that, but I do like your perspective.
That's how I've come to think about it. Just when I'm trying to think to myself, how can I make it polished and whatnot? Robot Viking, you have an interesting question. Are we talking philosophy? I have a good philosophical D&D question. Do you want to call in? You should smash that call-in button, or you can put your question in the chat. But I would love to hear it. But anyway, Fargrim, to put a good lid on the conversation.
Yeah.
For handouts. It sounds like you're really moving in a great direction. I think that it also depends on who you're playing with. If you're playing with like random people on the internet, I think more is better, especially in terms of like content, things you don't want to get into, etc. But sometimes if you have friends you've been gaming with, you don't have to talk about those things, and it's also different if you're going to be like streaming it, because then it's going out to the whole world on your channel. So it's like, okay, that's another level of like responsibility.
Yeah.
But do you have any plans to I know you've been streaming gameplay, haven't you?
Yes. So I will be streaming tomorrow for my Valley of Fallen Stars, my sci-fi campaign. And then the second week of April, I will start my feudal Japanese anime enthused campaign.
Heck yeah. Remind me again, what's your channel called?
My channel on Twitch is called Fargrim the Barbarian, exactly how it's spelled on my name over here.
What about on YouTube? What's your channel?
Dark Raven Voyages.
You want to? Is it okay if we watch a couple minutes of a video? If we watch a minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to share it here. What video should we watch? Just your latest one, Settings Lore.
You can watch that one.
All right. Be careful, because I don't want to trick you into signing some shit. It sounds like you've got some interesting stuff happening in the background.
Oh yeah, my brother is quite a central part of my stream. The random background is part of it.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna try to do this, and this time I'm gonna try to get the audio right. Here we go.
Steadshire. This fertile kingdom churns out the juiciest fruits and fiercest warriors. Its sacred grove, an ancient forest, is home to the oldest druidic order, while local dojos hunt the land's beasts to teach balance, not overpopulation. Ishida Toyotamo, future oath brother of the divine dragons, hailed from here. Zul'Gura Stronghold, a gritty melting pot of Goliath, Genasi, and orcs. This fortress stands loyal to the eternal dragons and their war god, Su-Bokim. Under siege by the armies of light, they fiercely guard his temples. It's a raw, chaotic bastion of defiance. Zenhula. Zenhula's is a Badlands hotspot, ruled by mercenary lords tied to the armies of light. Lawless yet pristine, it's a dazzling hub of exotic goods, pirates, and culture.
Nice. That's awesome. Did you come up with all those images?
Yes, I used Dreamia AI, and I just summarized everything. Well, pretty much all the lore through AI. I use Grok for instead of Chat GPT for most of my text base.
Was that your voice? Were you the one?
No, that was 11 Labs.
Is that an AI voice?
Yes, I'll actually give you the link.
That sounded pretty lifelike.
Do you mind if I message you on Discord?
Oh no, go for it.
All right, cool.
That sounded very lifelike.
Yeah, I love 11 Labs. It's like for the cheapest subscription is $5 a month.
Hot Dice says, cool vids, but why the AI voice? No shade. I'm just curious why people do it. I can't listen to them personally. Fargrim, what is your response to that?
I like the AI voices, and I think that they're more clear. Because if I were to read it off script, I feel like there would be more ums and ahs. And honestly, it's more of a confidence thing, I guess, by reading out loud. If I have AI do it, it's like I said, it's more clear, more concise, it's level, and it sounds more like a narrator. At least the ones with more life in their voice.
I've never really dabbled in the area of AI, like spoken voice type stuff, AI images. I've dabbled a little bit in AI video, but I've never gone into the AI voiceover type thing. Interesting. Hot Dice, do you have a response to Fargrim's statements? Oh, here we go. I like your voice better, but that's just me, is what Hot Dice says.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Heck yeah. The AI conversation is always a good and interesting conversation.
It is. I'm just grateful to watch The Matrix beforehand. But anyway.
The Matrix?
Yeah. With all the AI stuff.
Matrix is such a good movie.
It is.
It's a spiritual movie. I believe that there are I think The Matrix, the first Matrix movie, is one of the top 5 best movies ever made.
100%.
Yeah, totally. I love it. Avery Juno says, did you hear about what happened with Sigil? Yes, Avery, I have been listening to this. I downloaded and tried Sigil yesterday, and I thought about making a video about it, but I'm going to be honest, it just wasn't very good. I think that it's too early. You know how when Zuckerberg tried to release the metaverse, but it was like too early for the metaverse? I think that's what Wizards is doing with Sigil. I think it's just not ready. I think that there's going to come a company's going to come along and do what Sigil's trying to do, and they're going to crush it, and it's going to become awesome, and everyone's going to love it. But I think it's not ready. I just don't think the tech is ready. I think that Wizards didn't put enough into it. I think it was, I don't know.
I agree.
It was undercooked, but the money decided to dump it. I think that's true. I think that is what happened. Idiots. I love the idea of Sigil. If Sigil was done super, super well, I would love it. I think it'd be awesome. Tailspire already exists. I do not know what this is. What is Tailspire?
I've seen Tailspire. One of my players plays on Tailspire. It's pretty much what Sigil is, but not as quote unquote nice looking, at least from the YouTube marketing videos.
Are these screenshots of Tailspire? I'm going to bring this up. Hold on. I'm going to show this. I've never heard of this before. I've never, ever heard of this. Avery says this is what Sigil wanted to be. Robot Viking, I want to have the philosophical conversation, but I wish you would call in. If you call in, we'll pick it up.
Yeah, I'll hop on out of here. It was great talking to you, by the way.
You too, Fargrim. I hope I see you in the next TTRPG YouTube meeting.
Yeah, and I'll message you on Discord.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep, later.
All right, later. All right. We're going to take a look at this Tailspire. Window. Am I doing this right? Okay. Here we go. Tailspire. Tailspire is an online digital graphical way of playing classic P&P role-playing games with your friends. What is P&P? Pen and pencil or paper and pencil? As a DM, build your campaign in game and invite your players to sessions. To your left, you can watch the early access trailer. Oh, so it's like okay. So it's actually like 3D tabletop. It looks like a 3D tabletop. Oh, it's got like tiles. That's a lot of crafting to go into a scene that your players are going to spend 2 minutes in. Wow, the graphics are really cool. It's like 3D Mini. It actually looks like a mini. Sigil is trying to be like a video game. This was more like an actual 3D. This is like the Lego video games. It is just like the Lego video games. I actually like it. It looks pretty cool. How much is it? What's the pricing? What's the price? Oh, so it's a one-time buy, $24.99. That's very affordable. That's less than half the price. Oh, Robot is jumping in. All right. Uh-oh. Robot Viking, you need to connect a device. You need to connect your cam or your mic before you can jump in, apparently. It won't let me add you. Okay, so, but if you try to do that, then I can add you. It just won't let me add you quite yet. With that being said, okay, so Avery, do you run games on Tailspire? Is that what you use? And my question is, does it take like a super long time to build the scenes and stuff? Because I kind of feel like it might take a long time. As much time as it takes to create like a top-down map, I feel like it would take even more time to create a 3D version of a setting. But I don't know. I have no frame of reference because I've played Minecraft, but I don't know if Sigil, or I'm not Sigil, but I don't know if Tailspire takes a long time. I have it, but I've not actually been able to use it in game yet. Gotcha. I'm going to share Tailspire's URL in the chat just in case anyone wants to take a look at it. I'm going to hang around for another couple minutes because I would love to talk to Robot Viking. Philosophical questions about D&D sounds very interesting to me, but It says devices not connected. They'll need to connect their mic/cam before you can add them to the stream. And it doesn't seem like a mic is necessarily required. I think it's more about I'm sorry, the camera isn't super required. I think it's the mic that matters. And it won't even let me add you without it. So there must be a problem. And I can understand how those things can take a while. Avery says there are pre-made assets you can plug and play also. You don't have to build each building from the ground up. Interesting. I wonder how many pre-made assets there are. Frequently asked questions. There is a fog of war. That's cool. I like it. Robot Vikings here. All right. Hey, Robot Viking. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
I can. Yep, I can hear you. All right. What's this philosophical D&D question?
Yeah, so I have been a DM for a long time, since I was like 13 years old, about 30 now. And always through the different editions, they have had the same kind of like spectrum for good and evil and chaos and law.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering how you define those, like how you play now. How do you define good and evil?
Yeah, that's a very deep question. We did like a 2-hour conversation about that one time on Livestream. So the way I define good and evil generally is, if we're going to say it very simply, it is selfishness versus altruism. But it's not.
That's how I play my games too. Yep.
Yeah, it's not quite that clear cut though, right? But that's if we're going to draw a hard line, that's where I draw the good and evil line generally.
Sure. Yeah. And so I run into the same kind of problems because I run my games the same way. I'm curious for law and chaos too, but for good and evil. So you get a certain circumstance where somebody is acting for what they believe is the best, but it is for a selfish reason. You would still consider that evil.
So, okay. So what you're saying is somebody does something that they believe is good.
Correct. Yeah.
But it's actually it boils down to selfishness. Okay, so here's how I generally run those things. So it's kind of fun to note that when you start diving into individual decisions, you can generally find altruism and selfishness in every choice, right? So it's like if we're like, Robot Viking, why did you jump in front of that child to stop the bullet? And you say to yourself, well, I wanted to save the child's life. If we dig deep enough, we will find some altruism in that. Like, yeah, you actually made a sacrifice. You put yourself in harm's way to save that child. But then also at some point, we are going to find some selfishness. It's like,
yeah, like I look really cool doing it.
Yeah, you look private. Now everyone's going to be like, oh, you're a saint. You get this like saintly status. So there is a level of that. But I think that generally speaking, I always try to treat it with like just one level of depth, and I try to only look at one level, and like that's the most obvious baseline level. So in other words, the first most obvious baseline level of Robot Viking jumped in front of the kid to save the kid. Is this good or evil? In my game, I'm going to say that's a good act. That was a selfless act. Like, the only thing Robot Viking really immediately had to gain was a bullet in that, which would not have been good.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no, that's good. Now, as for whether or not, when you go deeper, so for example, let's say that your character actually has like a grand plan to say, well, I'm going to jump in front of this bullet. But the truth is I hired the gunman who's using rubber bullets, and it's all a big ploy to make me look good. Then I'm going to take control of the church when I become a priest. I'm going to oppress the whole village, right? So it's like an evil plot. Obviously, then this is all like, that's going to look like a good act, but it's actually evil. But the only person who really knows that is the player character. or not even the character. The character might actually know, but whether or not they're defining it as such is to be seen. Because you might be trying to oppress the village because you think they're incapable of making the right choices for themselves. So to you, that might be an act of good. Even villains are generally motivated out of a sense of trying to do good. Not always, but like a lot of times they still are. So how do we define that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I see that like as you dig deeper on pretty much any level or any individual action, you can get down to depending on the scenario, this might be an evil thing or a good thing, depending on how deep you dig. So like for chaos and law, for good and evil, like that doesn't mean much in our current editions as far as like stats and like those kind of things. Like you said, it's more like a inside of the player. But for law and chaos, that can mean a little bit more. For example, in the game that I'm running right now, my big overarching villain is not like a villain of evil, but more of a villain of chaos and benefits for things being out of order. And the more things are out of order, the stronger this villain gets. Mm-hmm. So how do you define like law and then also chaos then?
So I always define law and chaos as like basically, do you follow the set rules or principles, or do you actually embrace the unknown? Because what laws and principles give us is basically they give us predictability. It's like, we're going to make these rules. And if we kind of predict that everyone's going to follow them, then we can kind of predict what kind of society we're going to have. Whereas the chaotic person would kind of say, no, I want things to go the way they would naturally go. I don't want to try to control them at all. When they say I don't want to try to control them, they mean I don't want any controls put on this. Let's let chaos have its way. So it's like, to me, it's actually much simpler. I kind of find it a simpler matter to judge law, order, and chaos, or lawful and chaos, as opposed to good and evil, because I just look at it like, okay, in any given situation, is your character choosing the path that leads towards order, or are they choosing the path that leads to chaos? So it's like, if your character kind of says, for example, with the kid with the bullet, maybe your character is good, but they're choosing not to get involved in the situation at all because, according to kind of the local customs, the general policy is, hey, civilians, you should stay out of these things. Let the law enforcement handle it, right? So you're kind of like, no, okay, I'm going to step back, let the law enforcement. And then you see the kid gunned down. And it's like, oh, law enforcement didn't do their job, but it's not my fault. I followed the status quo. So this is like a tendency toward order. Right. Now, you could also say, if you're following a different set of like rules, maybe you're following a personal code, which sometimes trumps local law enforcement for the character. So you might say in your code, oh no, I'm going to stop the chaos of a murder. So you jump in front of them. So it's a motivation, like, instead of the choice itself, which I think is true about good and evil too. It's more about the motivation than the actual act itself, at least in how it informs how you label it immediately. But to me, that's what it basically boils down to. Is it following the laws of the land, and or some kind of like scene set of rules, or even a personal code of conduct, or is it just the whims of emotion, or I wanted to is much different than my code really leans toward me doing that. Like, those are two different things. It's almost like impulse versus stoicism almost.
Yeah, I think personal code really plays into part there, because you get druids who will hold like the laws of nature and what is right over like laws of the land. And so it's really hard to judge all characters on the same basis of law or chaos.
Yeah. Now, I have a question for you, and I think this is an interesting question. So there's a big question of how much does alignment matter?
Right. Yeah.
In a tabletop game. And obviously the answer is not 0? The answer is not, oh, it doesn't matter, because it does matter. For some classes, it matters, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it's also not like the most important thing.
Right. Yeah.
So what would your answer to that be? What do you think?
Yeah, so I use alignment just like any other tool, right, in the toolbox, which is that we use it for the furtherment of fun. It's to have fun with. And to the moment where it becomes like a job for me to design, because alignment like also kind of applies to deities and like the planes that are in like the new guide. As they go into it, there are certain places that are very much a part of that alignment system, and it's like the world outside of the material plane in our games very much rely will actually like visit those places in those individual adventures. It really depends on the adventure, but I think that for a DM, those things matter a lot when designing the story outside of players. But it never matters unless players interact with it. So it's always a tool there to be used, I guess would be my answer. And we use it in a way that that doesn't hinder our fun, but adds to the story. And so like there are some of my players that really love like the depth of lore inside of the worlds that I make. And so they dig deep into that stuff, and I want them to have like a very deep hole to go into, as far down as they want to dig.
Gotcha. No, I think that I agree with that a lot. And I think that where alignment, for me, my favorite use of alignment is when the players are dealing with it just for themselves and for their characters. Like my favorite time alignment ever comes into the picture is when a player cares a lot about whether their character is good or evil. And then they have a moral quandary, and then they wrestle with that. I think those are the very best cases of it. I also like cases where NPCs, or usually it'll be villains, will come in and they will try to mislabel the NPCs, or I'm sorry, the PCs, as a matter of principle to basically try to make their cause look righteous. So in other words,
the moral enemy.
Yeah. So they might come in and say, you call yourself good, but what do you actually do? You just oppress the weak with your religion. You take their money, you build fancy churches with it, and all for what? So you heal a few sick, but really all you are is you're just a gold-clad army. I'm here for the people. That's like a line of reasoning that takes a certain amount of thought power to combat. And so it's just like another weapon a villain could use to like confound the characters, before the big fight or whatever. Try to make them question themselves. I love that use of it. And I also kind of agree with you. I think that the most important uses for it are where it applies to like role play. And this is why I think having immersive players who really care makes all the difference, because players who really care, that will matter a lot to them. Whereas if you have players who are kind of all over the map, and they kind of say they're good, but then they're doing like really crazy, maybe evil things, it's like, well, you're not really good. You're more chaotic than anything, but those players that it doesn't really matter to.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that is a kind of like, I feel like they are robbing themselves of what could be a very much more in-depth roleplay experience than if they took it very seriously.
At the same time, like I don't fault anybody for not using.
Yeah. Oh, you still there?
That can be the Tinker's tools there. Sorry, I think I cut out a little bit. I don't fault anybody.
You should go back a little bit because we missed a little bit of what you said. You don't fault.
Okay. Yeah, I don't fault anybody for not using like the Tinker's tools or like any other part of our system, right? Whatever is fun for them to play with. My players, I'll try and engage them on those terms. But I think you're right that like that system is one of the only like moral systems that we have in the game. And so if we use it right, we can really add to the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's a really fun tool to to put in front of players and then like challenge their viewpoints of it. I think that's one of the funnest parts. I think that's probably my favorite thing that's probably my favorite thing to do with alignments, honestly, is and it's not just like putting moral quandaries, but actually having villains basically mess with the player characters, like trying to make them think, oh no, what you're calling it is wrong. Your whole belief system is wrong. I think that's a very fun thing. And when you do it really well, it can really infuriate the players, which is great fuel for the passion for hating that big bad, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for answering my questions today. I love all you do. I really appreciate you doing these live streams.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm very pumped. Thanks. I'm glad you were able to get on the stream and talk about it. I love talking philosophy. So thank you very much for sharing, and I'll see you around very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Bye. All right, everyone. I think that's going to be a wrap for today. Thank you all for coming to this Friday call-in live stream. I plan to do this every single Friday. And like I said, just keep an eye out on that calendar. For those of you who were not here in the very beginning, there's an official GM Philosophy calendar now. I'm going to link to that here. I'm going to send the link out right now. There we go. It's in the chat. Calendar link. You can go there and see all of the official times for events. And if you check this calendar, I'm going to post cancellations on it if they happen. So if you're thinking to yourself, hey, I wonder if the GM Philosopher is still doing, the masterclass today. If you go on here, if there are any cancellations, they will be posted. So you'll be able to see. I'll literally update it every single day. Jason said, I got the end of it, but what I was here for was a great discussion. Did you mean that you were wanting to discuss something, Jason? Fun show man, off to call in one of these times. Heck yeah. Jason, if you didn't get to have your discussion, just jump into the next one. I'd love to discuss whatever with you. I always love talking to you. I think we've only talked over text. I think. I may be wrong about that, but I think we've only talked over text. But I would love to talk more. So everyone have a great day. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for another episode of Good Morning Game Masters with Kelf and John. So I will see you guys later, and have a good one.